Good morning, or evening, or whatever time of the day it is when you're watching this video. We've been working with fractions in class and specifically looking at drawing diagrams and understanding the fractions and the parts and the pieces and the number of pieces. In this activity, we're going to kind of leave the diagrams. You'll notice the denominators here, and most of these problems are really large, and that makes it difficult to use a diagram. So we're going to look at which fraction is larger, how to compare fractions. The key though is they don't want us to use fractions with common denominators, cross multiplying, or converting to decimals. And so let's take a look here. I've got an example here. If I asked you to think about the fractions 3 over 18 versus 3 over 20, 3/18ths versus 3/20ths, you're probably noticing the numerators are the same, but the denominators are different. So think about the denominators. What does the 18 tell us about the fraction? Well, the 18 tells us that the whole unit has been divided into 18 parts. So I'm not going to draw them all, but if you can imagine having a unit and chopping it up into 18 parts. Now, what about 20ths? If I took the same whole and I chopped it into 20 pieces, how are the sizes of these pieces going to compare? Are the 18ths going to be bigger or the 20th going to be bigger? Like I said, it's going to be hard to draw them. I don't know if I should draw it a little bit smaller or a little bit larger. But if you think about it, if I've broken it into 18 pieces versus 20 pieces, these pieces are going to be smaller. Does that make sense? So we've got smaller pieces, we've got larger pieces. So here, what does the 3 tell us? It says I have 3 larger pieces compared to this one is 3 smaller pieces. So which one of these fractions is larger? Well, the one that has larger pieces is. And so for the first one, we can think about it this way. Let's take a look at example 2. We can use similar ideas. Which pieces are going to be larger, 15ths or 19ths? If you're thinking I have a whole and I break it into 15 equal pieces, these are going to be larger. These are going to be smaller. But now it can be a little confusing because I have 18 small pieces compared to 14 large pieces. I've got more pieces, but they're smaller. And just from that, I don't know which is bigger. But there's a little trick here. Take a look at it, maybe you can think through it. Notice that this is 1 piece less than 1. We're missing a 19th. This is the same way. We're 1/15th less than 1. Okay, can you figure out which one is bigger from here? Well, if you think about it, here I can think of this as 1, and I subtract a larger piece. Here I take 1 and I subtract a smaller piece. So which one's going to be bigger? Well, the one where I take away less. So in this case, I'm missing 1 piece and that piece is smaller. So it's going to have more left over, if I could think of it that way. So 18 over 19 is larger. The third way we're going to compare is we're going to compare to what we call a benchmark. And it's okay if you don't remember that terminology. But as you look at these two, you could see our strategies aren't going to work very good here. These pieces are definitely smaller pieces from the 40. 16, these are larger pieces. But 5 larger pieces, 11 smaller pieces, that that doesn't help, and I can't use this strategy because neither one of these is very close to 1. I guess this is missing 11 pieces, and this is missing maybe 29 pieces, but it's still not very helpful. But if you'll notice, 11/40 versus 5/16. I guess I noticed it in the 11/40 first. 11/40 is pretty close to 10/40, which is the same as 1/4, right? 5/16 is pretty close to 4/16, which is also 1/4. So if you'll notice, this is 1/16 more than 1/4, where this one, oh, I didn't mean to make it this challenging. This one is 1/40 larger than 1/4. Okay, so they're both a little bit more than 1/4, 1 piece more than 1/4. Since these pieces are larger, this fraction is larger. It's a bigger piece more than 1/4, where this one is a smaller piece more than 1/4. And if you look at these, practice these problems in 2Q and 2R, these strategies are going to come up. You should be able to use these sorts of strategies to decide which fraction is bigger. Please let me know if you have any questions or trouble. Thanks, and have a great day.